The Vietnam War, a nation's resistance, a world's fracture. In the mid-20th century, the world was split into two poles. Under the shadow of the Cold War, ideologies clashed not only in theory but on the battlefield. And one of the bloodiest stages of that clash unfolded in a small yet defiant country in Southeast Asia, Vietnam. I've created this documentary with great care for you, my valued viewers and subscribers of Scope Atlas. My goal is not only to present historical facts, but to help you feel the lived experiences, the pain, and the spirit of resistance. If you'd like to be part of this journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and support this work with your comments. Every bit of your engagement makes this storytelling more meaningful and powerful. The Vietnam War, a nation's resistance, a world's fracture. In the heart of the 20th century, the world stood divided. On one side, the West spoke of freedom and democracy. On the other, the East rose with promises of equality and revolution. These two forces collided in a small yet defiant land, Vietnam. A war not just for territory, but for beliefs, for ideologies, and for the dignity of humankind. Now we dive into the depths of the Vietnam War, how it began, how it escalated, and what legacy it left behind. The cost of a nation, the lessons of the world. After World War II, colonial structures in Asia began to collapse. The people of Vietnam, long under French rule, rose with a deep desire for freedom. In 1945, under the leadership of Ho Chi Minh, the Viet Minh movement was born. The people declared independence to the world, but France was unwilling to lose its grip on the region. The conflict intensified. Villages were burned, civilians displaced, yet the Viet Minh resisted with guerrilla tactics in the mountains. In 1954, the Battle of Dien Bien Phu became a turning point. The French army suffered a devastating defeat. This led to the Geneva Conference, where Vietnam was divided. The North under communist rule, the South under a U.S.-backed government. This division laid the foundation for the Great War to come. From 1955 onward, South Vietnam faced deep political instability. Corruption, repression, and unmet expectations weakened the government, while the North continued to call for reunification. In 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin incident gave the United States a reason to intervene directly. Congress granted President Johnson broad powers. Vietnam was no longer just a local struggle, it had become a stage for global powers. Starting in 1965, hundreds of thousands of American troops were deployed to Vietnam. Armed with modern weapons, aircraft, and bombs, the U.S. relied on technological superiority. Yet in the dense jungles, the Viet Cong's guerrilla tactics proved formidable. Villages were destroyed, civilians suffered, and chemical weapons like napalm and Agent Orange scarred both the land and its people. Children were left disabled, farmland barren for decades. Casualties. Around 2 million Vietnamese civilians lost their lives. 1.1 million North Vietnamese and Viet Cong fighters were killed. 200 to 250,000 South Vietnamese soldiers died. The U.S. recorded 58,220 military deaths. In 1968, the Tet Offensive shocked the world. Viet Cong forces launched surprise attacks across South Vietnam. For the American public, it was proof that victory was slipping away. In 1969, President Nixon introduced the policy of Vietnamization, aiming to shift the burden of war to South Vietnam, but the government lacked popular support. Meanwhile, anti-war protests erupted across the United States. Students, workers, and families demanded an end to the conflict. In 1973, the Paris Peace Accords were signed. American troops withdrew, but the war between North and South continued. In 1975, North Vietnamese forces captured Saigon, the capital of the South. The government collapsed, and Vietnam was reunified under the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. For the people, it was independence at last, but the cost was immense. Millions dead, cities destroyed, and wounds that would take generations to heal. The Vietnam War claimed nearly 3 million lives, making it one of the bloodiest conflicts of the 20th century. The nation endured economic collapse, agricultural devastation, and the long-lasting effects of chemical warfare. Yet Vietnam rose from the ashes. Since the 1990s, economic reforms transformed it into a middle-income country. As a member of ASEAN, Vietnam plays an active role in regional diplomacy. Relations with the United States normalized, and today Vietnam is seen as a rising power in the global economy. The cost of a nation, the lessons of the world. The Vietnam War was not only a struggle for independence, but also a clash between the will of the people and the ambitions of global powers. Today, Vietnam remembers its painful past while looking forward with hope as a young and dynamic nation.